All right now, how y'all doing? This is a thing because I don't normally do live, and I just want to go ahead and put this out here. It's 8:30 in the morning, and normally I am just waking up. However, today I am doing it for the people. For the people. So
It's for
welcome,
the
welcome, welcome.
culture.
For the culture, for the culture, for the people, for y'all. Good morning. How y'all doing? Good evening. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Life's a Vacay Live. I am Jones. I am your host, and I am super excited because today I have the pleasure of talking to another Jones. And the Joneses are in the house today. So we are doing this thing called live on uh, YouTube, which is streaming also on Facebook. So thank you for joining us this morning. And so I am super excited to introduce Miss Sondra. I just wanted to do that. Jones, who is from Chicago. She is a retired teacher of 30 years. So she was out there in the struggle with you good people's children, making sure they're educated. And I am excited because she transitioned from all of that. She retired, she put up her pencil and that apple, and then she got into the world. And so she is now doing a good service to the good Black women and brown women of the world by helping them with financial literacy. And so I'm excited to have her because she is now living in Thailand, VI, some other places, and we're going to get into it. Hey, Sandra.
Hey, cha. You
How
are
you
so
doing, girl?
kind, girl. I did not put the apple and the pencil away. I ran out of there like my hair was on fire. That's the truth.
Hey, I have a 5-year old, so I understand. And I've taught kindergarten, I've taught third grade, I, I taught the university level, so I get it. I get
You
it.
understand the struggle is real. The struggle is real.
Yeah. Now it's 7:30, so 7:30 where you are in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for getting up out your bed. Cause I know that you live a lifestyle where you don't have to wake up for nobody and do
Yes.
your thing. And
You
you be in these
understand. I
streets.
did it for I did it for the culture. I did it. And let me tell you, I'm not gonna your baby boy charmed me so I'm a fan. So I'm a total fan, child. So of course when you put in the call, of course I'm gonna come and show for you and do what we do. We're gonna spread good news.
Yes, I love it. So I am going to also go ahead and tell the good people that my son, who is 5, may roll up out of here because he's still asleep. And normally he wakes up at 7, and he's true to that. He's like, no, 7. The sun should not hit your butt, and you still in bed. So
Langston is
I
such a
don't.
charmer. Oh my God, I was totally charmed, child. Totally charmed. So you have done just a beautiful job with that boy. So yeah, I
Well,
was excited to get the call so we could spend some time together.
Well, I am. Look, I'm new to this. I have not grew to this. Okay, so y'all gonna give me some
Breathe.
grace and some mercy because things were not working out this morning. But you know what? They always work out for the good. So we're not
Yes,
even
you
tripping
do.
off of that. But we're gonna get into this conversation. It's not an interview. It's a conversation. And I'm just happy to have you because, so Sondra came to Malaysia a couple weeks ago and she hit me
Mhm.
up on Facebook and said, hey, I'm here and, I'm down here doing the walkable thing. So if you in the city, come through. And so we met up at a cultural event in the city in Kuala Lumpur and we just kicked it. So we hung out for a couple hours, got something to eat. She got the pleasure of meeting Sir Langston,
Mhm.
and we just became really cool. Now she was out in the streets in Malaysia doing I don't know what she was doing, and I'm not gonna put that out there. So, but she had a good time, and I'm glad that she did. But um, tell me, how did this journey begin for you? Because you out here, island hopping right now, but going from country to country and doing your thing. But how did you first leave Chicago and jump into this lifestyle?
First of all, thank you for having me, Cha. And you said it, sis, it's a good life. It's a good life. And so I'm not going to pretend like it's not. I had taught in the city for almost 30 years, and 30 years of anything is enough. Seriously. If you did it for 30 years, trust me, sis, you're probably doing it at the highest level. You're good. And so the pandemic hit. And I think for many of us, it was the first time that we really had a chance to breathe and had some concentrated time where we could think and reflect. And I was doing just that at home, like everybody else, thinking and reflecting and thinking and reflecting. And at that time, I think I was like everybody else in isolation and trying to just deal with that, what all that meant. And so I entered therapy. And it was through this therapy that I was like, wait a minute, girl, the kids are gone. You are not happy. This is not, I enjoyed my work. I enjoyed the children, but there's a lot of politics that comes with teaching and being in the field of education. You see it all. Over 30 years, you see it all. And I really had seen enough and served enough. And so in that time, that quiet time of reflection, I figured, I didn't want to leave teaching totally. I figured I'll do this overseas. I know what I'll do. I'll go to Spain. And so I started out there. That was actually my first extended time abroad. Wasn't even Mexico or Thailand. My first escape was to Spain. And again, it was during the pandemonium. And I got over there, child, and they went into total lockdown. I said, well, excuse me. I did not come, miles and miles, days and days of travel to come and sit in another space and be in essentially the same situation I just left. And so I never taught a day in Spain, but I spent 3 glorious months on the Mediterranean Sea drinking wine on the beach and continuing. It was really like a continuation of that therapy. And so I was able to kind of detox from the job, go over anything that I needed to kind of clear up in myself, because I knew that leg of my journey was over. I knew that I would never teach in public school in that way ever again. 30 years was enough. And I just set out on this quest to find what really set my heart on fire, what really excited me. And that's how I got here. I started in Spain, actually.
Okay. So, all right, you're in therapy. You decide that you're going to go to Spain. Lovely. She don't start small, she goes big. Now, had you ever even traveled abroad before?
You already know, girl, I had already been island hopping and jet setting. As a matter of fact, in 2018, a few years before the pandemonium, my daughter and I and my grandson had gone to Spain, and we spent about a week. And it was there. I'm telling you, I started to call my principal and say, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm just going to hang out here, because we were there just long enough to really see, for me, a different way of life. The siesta was real. That's not some mythical thing that you see in cartoons where Spaniards take, or people, that live in Spain take a siesta. That thing's real. And so in the middle of the day, it was so foreign to me to see shops close down. People take 2-hour lunches, sipping wine in the evening, from 9 o'clock till midnight. This slower pace of life where I was able to witness people who were not working or living to work. They weren't defined by their work. They were working to live. Those people put in just enough time as they needed to at those jobs, and they were out enjoying the beach and their families. And so being able to see that, I promise you, it was a game changer. I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I want. Not this 9-to-5 rat race thing I've been doing for 30 years. That ain't it. These people are onto something. I saw intergenerational interactions every single day. And I knew I wanted that. I wanted that.
Okay. So you decided in your spirit at that time that this is something you wanted to transition into, and you made that happen during the pandemonium, as you say. And um, now you go to Spain. What did you do to prepare? Like from the time that you decided while you were in therapy to the putting it into motion, how how did you prepare to make that happen?
Well, I think the first step to any journey is you just have to come to the realization for yourself. So I was really resolved that this was over. And I understand that after teaching for so long or being in any profession for an extended period of time, you can have somewhat of an identity crisis when you decide to pivot out of that thing. That wasn't the case for me. Like I told you, I ran out like my hair was on fire. I knew. I was like, oh yeah. I was telling everybody, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach. I was never unclear about that. But I had a home, I had a family, I have grandchildren. I had all the things that everybody has. And so I had to start preparing them first. So I had to start having these very hard conversations. And I'm telling y'all, therapy is the best. Pay the people. They're worth every penny. And so because I was in therapy at the time, I had the support that I needed to make this transition. First, having those conversations with the inner circle, letting my children know, okay, I know you all thought I was going to retire and bake cookies and go on field trips with the children. That's not happening. And surprisingly, I have the best children in the world. They were like, "Go, mommy, go." I was like, "Okay, okay." That's the first step. And then I started to move outside of that inner circle and started to let other people know who would be affected. I let my boss know. And to be perfectly honest with you, that was a shocker. That was the first shocker I got because I told my boss, I said, I'm getting ready to retire. I'm going to Spain. And she literally looked at me and said, "You ain't going nowhere." I said, "Uh-oh, somebody hold my beer because you don't know me. You don't know me. I am out of here." And so I that was the first piece of resistance that I got, that somebody didn't actually believe or didn't support my dream and my vision. And so that was a shocker, but of little consequence. And then I started to inform my family. And every conversation, child, hello, there's our love. There's our king. Oh, don't cry. I have a heart. That's the age I taught. I taught kindergarten, Montessori. Everything stops. Who said it? I think it was Toni Morrison that said, when a kid sees you, you should just light up. They should know that they are absolutely loved and adored. That's how your baby made me feel. Okay, so that's a little sidebar. He is so charming, child. Seriously, I was charmed. I still love the teaching field, but I knew it was time to go after 30 years. So I just started letting everybody know who needed to know. And I started having very hard conversations with people. All of the leftover, anything that for me needed to be said to somebody. You know how you might delay a difficult conversation with your mother? You might delay a difficult conversation with your ex-husband, anybody. Sister, I was lining them up and checking them off. I was like, oh yeah, everybody gets it. Everybody gets the pure, unadulterated truth that whatever our relationship is, here's how it's going to go moving forward. And so it started there. It started with being resolved that this was what I was going to do, started planning. I let everybody know. I sold, put the house on the market. It took some time, and it took longer than I thought it was going to take because, trying to get rid of a house that you've been in 30 years, girl, the closets were chugged, the garage was chugged, the basement was filled. It took me about a year, honestly. So I went to Spain, and I had to wind up coming back to sell the house because I couldn't get everything done. So it was a process.
Okay. So about a year. So I guess for those people, because there are a lot of people who they're thinking about this, but
Yeah.
they're playing double dutch, right? They're trying to figure out, you know, where do I fit into this, and how does this fit into my life, and how do I make the transition
Yeah.
from the life that I've known all my life to this big leap to moving abroad, which can be very intimidating for some people, especially for those who've never really traveled a whole lot, maybe have, they've gone to Jamaica or
Yeah.
somewhere that's safe, right? Relatively.
Yeah.
So what words of encouragement do you have for them, or what advice would you have?
Child, there's a fair amount of fear that is going to naturally accompany this kind of move. So the first thing I would say is be resolute in your decision. And you become resolute in a decision by reflecting and really being honest with yourself. So that's the first thing. If it's time to go, it's time to go. That's where we start. But then you have to don't fight the fear, accept it because it's a part of it. I think a psychologist or someone in the field explained it to me this way, that it's the brain's job to keep us and send us signals that keep us safe. And one of those signals is it might show up as fear. And so that's natural. So don't even try to hide it. Don't try to fight it. Accept that this is scary. And I think when we don't do that, the fear just it'll wear you down. It's like trying to keep a beach ball underwater. It's a part of it. And so what I was able to do was acknowledge that the fear is right here with me, but the fear is not in charge. The fear is not, I'm in charge. I'm driving this car. And so I accepted that it is a little scary. But sometimes we just have to push through fear. So when that fear shows up, don't run from it. Don't try to hide, talk about it. I would definitely advise everybody, if you're transitioning, this is a big deal. If you are an advocate of therapy, please indulge because it'll make the transition that much easier. So acknowledging that the fear is real and then just getting to the planning, aligning yourself with people who are doing what you want to do already. And so for me, it meant aligning myself with Exodus Summit. When I came back from Spain, I'm just researching because I know I'm not here for long. I'm going back out. I know I'm going. I've already tasted it. You can't, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so I was just researching, like, what are my options? What else can I do? And during that research, I came across Exodus Summit, and that was the missing piece for me, which was community. So acknowledging the fear, making sure that you have a support system around you, making sure that you have community that aligns with your vision, because naysayers will show up and they will derail your entire plan. Nix the naysayers. The first person that shows up and is like showing you some resistance, and you'll know the difference. You know the difference when somebody is questioning you, like, have you thought about this? Or when someone is projecting their fear onto you. Now, the fear mongers, I'm telling you, put them in the back seat, because they will create all sorts of doubt. They will, they'll derail your plan. So for sure, those are some basic things I would do. I'm just a fan of therapy, period, because it is a big transition and you don't have to do it alone. That could be a life coach, that could be anybody, but you do need a support system. You will need a community, and you will need to set some serious boundaries with people who are running counter to what your desire is. And then since you just go for it, you just run through the wall, because if all else fails, you can get up, you can dust yourself off, and you can start all over again. It's not the end.
Absolutely. I love that advice because that's real. Now, I had told the good people this was not about to be an interview. So I'm going to shift it up a little because I feel like I'm
Take
being
it
interviewed.
up.
And I'm
Take
not
it
doing it. I'm just not doing it.
up.
I'm going to have a whole conversation. So, for those who are viewing for the very first time, never meeting me, all of this English is good wrong. But it's okay. I'm just gonna
It
go with
is
it.
what it is. We are here raw and unedited, and everybody gets to see.
They got me at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Good Friday. So listen, I left to go to Korea in 2009. Started preparing at the end of 2008, and I did not have any clue that this was a thing, that people was out here living their best life, living abroad. And my first experience living abroad was as a traditional expat, meaning they paid for me to get there, they paid for my housing, all the things, right? And so that's a whole nother feeling than when you out here as a self-initiated expat.
Yes,
So
Lord.
now You are in Chiang Mai,
Okay.
but you got a house, so you're kind of rooted, right? So you're not
Yeah.
out here just doing the nomad thing.
No.
So, but what have you learned from the fact that you are able, especially because you're in Thailand, you're able to get to other places easily? What have you learned being able to kind of root yourself, but then being able to travel and get out there and do things on your own terms?
Cha, I think fear will probably be like a little running theme here because I'm telling you, fear will stop you, fear will stifle you, it will make you second guess. Being out in the world, we're sold so many tales. The US tells you every place is unsafe. No place is as good as the US. I have found that the world is really a welcoming, safe place. Now, of course, you got to keep your head on a swivel. You have to be smart. You can't just be out here, and tra la 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 la. But to be honest with you, I have traveled to 12 countries in the last year, Cha, and there are a very few times that I felt unsafe. Very few times did I not feel welcome. So I think what I've learned is that fear is a construct. Do not let it take over. Do not. I know it's easier said than done, but if you can at all, quiet the fear. Acknowledge it, but quiet it. Don't let it run. Don't let it rule. And go for it. I'm a solo traveler. Girl, I hit the road. It doesn't matter. I might get up off of this call today and be like, you know what? I think I want to go back to Japan today. Pack my backpack and go. It takes some planning, finances and all that stuff. I sold a house. That was a big check. I was like, thank you for the big bank. That was a nice way to get started. I have a pension. So there are some things I don't have to worry about. I'm not trying to sell anybody any pie in the sky, any sunshine. I'm not trying to shoot you any sunshine. You do need money. You do need income. You do need a way to finance your dream, but it doesn't take $1 million. I learned that it don't take a bazillion dollars. I know plenty of people follow Dave Ramsey and all the financial gurus and FIRE and all that stuff, and that's great. It's great to have a plan, but don't stay home because you don't have $1 million because it doesn't take $1 million. I was a teacher, girl. I wasn't rich as a teacher. You think they making me rich in retirement? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They are not. And so I'm wise with my money. I invest. That's what we do it From Lack to Legacy. We teach Black women how to invest. And so I had to up my financial literacy game so that I could sustain this lifestyle. But two things I learned. It doesn't take $1 million and you can make it through the fear. Girl, look the fear in the eye and get out there. Pack your bag. There are other women out there just like us who are traveling the world. They're living their dreams. I don't ever want to be the one at the end of the race with regret. That won't be me. They'll be like, girl, I plan to pull up to my kid's house on 4 flats. I plan to, mama rolled in beat because I saw, I came and I did. And so I encourage Black women in particular, because we are the workers. We are the doers. We're the nurses, the teachers, the lawyers. We're all of that. Nobody is telling us go. Put all that stuff aside. And I am saying to you, sis, go. If you dream to go to Bora Bora, go. You don't know. Nobody has a golden ticket till tomorrow. Nobody knows. We might not, anything can happen. And you don't want to arrive at the end of this journey having worked for everybody and not enjoyed some for yourself. So I say go. Don't be afraid. And it don't take $1 million to get it done. If you need some help with your money, come see me. We got you.
Yes, I love it because it doesn't. And I'm going to be really authentic and transparent right now, which that's just how I live my life. But for those people who aren't in my circle, wouldn't really know, but there have been times, listen, the time that I left my second time moving to Mexico with my son, which should have put a whole lot of fear in me, did not. Like,
Yeah.
all I needed was, listen, this is where I'm going. And I'm a believer that if I don't have it, I'll get it. And so I
That's it.
literally packed my bags with my baby, and he was 18 months old. And there was no question of fear. And then all I needed was his daddy to say, you ain't going to make it, baby. Let me tell
Don't
you something what you don't know about Child Jones.
Best motivator in the world.
I'll
Hold
show
my
you.
horse. Somebody hold his horse.
Yes. I'll show you better than I can tell you. So just
That's
watch
it.
me. And I just knew once he said that, I already knew it was a done thing. Because there was times I was like, am I doing this? Is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this?
That's
I
the danger
told baby.
zone.
And I was like,
That
you know
whole
what?
back and forth.
That's not how we think. And
Yep.
I didn't think that way before I had this baby. So I was like, listen, if I've been taking care of all these years, and at that point it was like 43 of them, then I'm going to be all right. And I packed my bags and went on to Mexico. And I plan on other levels. But when it comes
Mhm.
to living my life and doing the things I absolutely want to do that I feel are congruent with who I am authentically as a person, I don't
Mhm.
question that. I just go, I don't know what it is, but I go into a whole zone where I just know I'm gonna be all right. And I
Yeah.
literally went to Mexico and I told myself I'm gonna have me a place to live in a week. I got there 3 days later, I had found the place.
Come
Unfortunately,
on,
it wasn't
child.
ready. And then I had to wait for them to, because it was a brand new place and they were finishing up the last pieces. And so I went on vacation to Cancun, and then I came back, and they still didn't have the place ready. 2 days later, we moved in,
Mhm.
and I just needed a bed, so I went to Costco, got me a bed, and that's all that really mattered at that time because I had a
Mhm.
refrigerator, I had all the other stuff that I needed in the house. I didn't have a TV at that moment. I think I got a TV, the bed, and then everything else came as I went along, but there wasn't a real huge plan. I knew I was moving here. I knew I had enough money to furnish my house and do the things I needed to do. And
Mhm.
then I was gonna keep it moving. And the
Yeah.
next step is gonna come. So I guess that's the point I'm trying to make is that you don't
Yeah.
have to have the complete plan. You just need to know what you want to do. And then everything else will start coming together when you start taking your first steps to move in the right
Yep.
direction. But all this planning that it be people who trying to get PhDs out here and living abroad.
It's too much. It's overkill. You find that it sets up this analysis paralysis. Now you're in this. You're self gaslighting yourself. You're talking yourself out the vision. You're talking yourself out of the dream. Because if you let that doubt linger, you will start to self gaslight. You okay, maybe not. Stop it, sister. You know something in your spirit, you know you don't want to be at that job, girl. I knew I could not go in there another day. I was like, I love the children, but all this other stuff that comes with this job, I'm done. 30 years of anything is enough. So stop self-gaslighting yourself. Stop talking yourself out of it, child. And you said it doesn't have to even be perfect. I think some of us struggle with that too, especially high performing, high functioning Black women. We a lot of us suffer from perfectionism. If it's not planned well, because one, we don't want to fail, and we don't want to hear people who are on the outskirts telling us how we failed and that was a dumb a idea in the first place. And I told you, girl, they gonna talk anyway. Let them talk. Let them talk.
Absolutely.
I couldn't care less. You can say anything you want to say about me. I'm gonna tell you one thing. You asked me what I learned. I learned that in Southeast Asia, girl, these people don't fuss. They don't fight. You can say anything to me now. Before therapy, girl, you say something to me, you might catch these hands. You might catch these puppy paws. Now you can say anything to me. That's not my problem. So don't let somebody gaslight you. Don't self-gaslight. It don't have to be perfect. Pack your bag. Don't come out here with like $3, but if you got 5 cents, you're good to go. So I think that you're never gonna know. You're never gonna know the whole picture. And so you gotta make that first move. Make the move. You can always adjust as you go. And you said it, sister. Once you start writing things down and saying, look, this is what I'm gonna do, and you start moving your feet, the universe conspires with us.
Yes,
You
the
gotta believe that.
alchemy.
You better believe it. You better believe it. Because if you don't believe that, you're going to delay your dream. You must believe that the universe wants what's best for you. And once you speak it, and please don't write it down. If you speak it, write it, and start moving your feet, girl, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. That's the
Absolutely.
plan.
Right. And you just have to learn to pivot because just because you see it one way and you feel it one way doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to happen.
Nope.
So things will start opening up for you. And I love the universe will conspire with you because
Yeah.
this is your dream. And although your brain is trying to keep you safe and tell you, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that, it's really about just showing up, right? And being open to the possibilities that things will fall into place as needed. Now,
Yeah.
there might be some struggle, there might be some, you know, self doubt. There also might be those moments of challenges because you'll think to yourself, why in the hell did I do this? Because I got to go through all these things. You know, there may be some language barriers. There may be, you know, just adjustments to cultural differences that you
Yeah.
didn't anticipate. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's worth
Yes, it
it.
is. It's worth it. Look at these smiles. Nobody fakes this, first of all. Child got the glow. You can't fake the glow. I'm telling you, I am serious. Watch women who are out here living their dreams. They have an inner glow. That thing, it just bubbles up out of them. And you can always tell the sister who is stuck because it's just a whole different energy. I believe in energy. You can read a person's energy. If you leave their presence and you feel worse than you felt every time you encounter that person, that's some bad energy, sis. Walk away, create some distance, at a boundary. Child, when I left you, I was like, yes, I'm thinking about coming to Kuala Lumpur because the energy was right. And so surround yourself with people who got good energy, people who wish you well. Don't self-gas like all that crazy. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, none of this stuff is perfect. And I hope we are not. I know I'm not. I'm not selling nobody no sunshine. There have been tons of things that have come up, but you can't let those things derail you. Don't look at those challenges as a sign that it was a poor choice. That's not it. You're going to have challenges anyway. You had challenges when you were in the States, when you were sitting in that miserable job. You had challenges. What did you think? The challenges were going to magically disappear because you moved to paradise? No. But what I have found being in paradise is I'm no longer stressed about a job for pay. You know, now I have stresses that I create myself. you know, that, but other than I don't have that inherent low simmering stress where my belly churns on Sunday night because Lord, I got to go in this job on Monday. I don't have that anymore. I have my day, my schedule's my own. I don't have somebody dictating to me, well, you can only go to the bathroom between 11:30 and 11:35. I don't live like that anymore. I wake up when I want to. And child, you know I love you because I would have never been up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm about talking to somebody on the radio.
Listen,
But we can
it's
do
for the
this.
culture. It's for the culture.
It's a good life, girl. It's a good life because as soon as we turn this camera off, I'm going back to bed. I'm gonna go get a massage. And so you take the good with the bad. You know, that's how it works. That's how you're gonna have to be rolling out here, and you're gonna have to release some of that perfectionism because it's not gonna work. That will keep you stressed. And trying to do it perfectly is gonna keep you stressed. And when you get to the apartment and it's not perfect, if you come with that expectation that things have to go off exactly as I wrote them down, you're going to create more stress for yourself. You got to be kind of, free flowing. You got to go with the flow, sis.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, and I'm just talking to all the Americans out here, because we come with a lot of American baggage,
Yeah.
a lot of expectations. It needs to be like this. They need to do it like this. Why y'all do
Yeah.
this ain't your place, right? You
Yep.
are now immersing yourself into a community and a culture, into a country that's not your own. But to make it
Mhm.
your own, you need to have some peace, and you need to allow things to unfold, because oftentimes, we come with the thought, and I'm glad I didn't. Even when I went to Korea, I was like, you know what, I'm for the journey. So whatever
Mhm.
happens, I already have the equipment to deal with it. And
Yep.
I allow things to just kind of fall. Like when stuff just showed up and it was a muck, I was like, okay, what we gonna do with this? Because it was a lesson for me. I was just showing up to be present. I wasn't trying to make Korea America, because if that's the case, I should stay my ass in America. I was
Easy.
going to learn the lessons. Like what because Korea came to me in a way, it was synchronicity. Because
Mhm.
I was living in Charlotte at the time, and I laid down on my couch and I was like, I was laid off and I was living off my severance and I'm chilling. And I literally was like, you know what? God, I want to see the world. I fell asleep. I woke up. I went to go check my email because I was laid off, and I was like, I should at least be trying to look for a job. I was doing, my life coaching certification, doing all these other things, put my business together. But, my stuff was out there. And literally a recruiter contacted me, and the email basically was like, hey, I'm a recruiter. I'm looking to fill these positions in South Korea. And I came across your resume. I would like to see if you would be interested. Here's all the details, blah, blah, blah. I read it. I looked at all the websites. I even went and searched Korea, and I was like, don't nobody do this. And I deleted it. Not because I didn't think it was like real, real, real. I just was like, at that time I was 32. And I was like, I had done all the corporate stuff, and I was like, child, I'm not, well, who does this?
Who does that?
Who does this? And literally 2 days later, my girlfriend calls me. She said, okay, sit down. She was like, all right, you the only person crazy enough to do this with me. I'm going to go to Japan to teach English. And I was like, okay, so why are you calling me? What you need? She was like, I need you to go with me. I was like, what? To what? She don't do that. That's not what she do. Like, like, what am I going to do while you're working? She's like, no, you're going to work too. I was like, See, I didn't sign up for that. I was like, send me the information. She sent it to me. I called the lady. I did my interview. She said, I think you're a perfect candidate. I'm going to submit you for these jobs. In the meantime, this is what I need you to do to get prepared. Huh? And she's like, but I don't have any more jobs in Japan. Would you be willing to go to Korea? I said, God, what you trying to do? Why you taking me to Korea? I was like, but you know what?
I'm nudging you out the nest.
Yes, and it was coming back to me the second time. So I was foolish when I closed it. That's okay. It opens up again for me. And literally 3 months later, I was sitting in Korea on my 33rd. It was the day after my 33rd birthday. And so I just took the moment to just be like, you know what? Whatever unfolds is for me, because I didn't go looking for this. This came to me. It opened up to me. I basically said to the universe what I wanted, and it delivered. So now just be ready for the journey. And so all of the entitlements, I think it should, because listen, the first apartment they gave me, I was just like,
because everything is so super tiny. Southeast Asia, everything is really tiny and compact.
It was a loft of all of 500 square feet, probably, right? I had an upstairs, and literally I couldn't even stand up when I got upstairs to get in my bed. I literally had to crawl in and then get my
like
bed.
A tiny house.
I said, Lord, and I was accustomed to living a certain lifestyle in a certain way, and I was just like, okay, can they give me some extra money, or can I take my paycheck and we can do something better than this? But I also was just open to the possibility. Like, I went in and I cleaned that bad boy up and made it do what it do, and it became home. And that's all I need. Look, it was clean. I had all my essentials. I wasn't wanting for nothing. And then I started, just seeing other things. Now, when I went into somebody's house and they was living in a 4-bedroom, fully furnished, I was like, okay, now I can live differently, because now I see what the options are. But when I first went, I went humble, and I don't even like using that word, but I went just to receive, right? I was open. I was open vessel to what was, in front of me to receive, versus, with pre-notions of this needs to come a certain way. And everything unfolded. There weren't many challenges. There were days where I was frustrated because, don't nobody understand personal space, and I really wanted my own personal space at that moment. However, I was doing Korea, right? So you start Bogart, I start Bogart. We just gonna do this.
It is what it is.
So you went from Spain. Where'd you go next?
Left Spain, went back home, sold everything. Girl, sold everything. I was even more resolute when I got back home. I was like, oh my goodness, these people over here sipping wine and lunch. I gotta live like this. So the only thing is when I went back, it did take me some time because I was clearing out a house I'd been in for 30 years. So I had to clear all that stuff out. So it was actually almost a year. No, I don't know, whatever time frame it was. Girl, it wasn't long. Because I'm telling you, they cut me a check. I sold that house November 1st. November the 7th, I was sitting on a beach in Mexico. I was not playing any games. So from there, I went to Mexico. I stayed in Mexico for about a year and a half. I bumped around. I learned a lot. I was slow. I wasn't really slow traveling, girl. The truth is, I was flying through Mexico. I hit everything. I hit every beach, but I learned that I don't like to travel that way. I don't like living in and out of bag, you losing things. I can't tell you how many sunglasses and bras I lost on the road. It's like, girl,
I'm not
look.
even gonna talk about the bras that you lost.
Oh my God. I was like, wait a minute. Every time I turn around, I'm down some undies up in this camp. And so it's like, no, this is too fast. So I discovered I'm a world traveler, but I'm a slow traveler. So I learned that on my year and a half trek through Mexico. So I did finally come back, circled all the way back to Playa, got an apartment, stayed there. Or I think I spent almost a year and a half in Mexico, but I saw a bunch of stuff. It was great. Ate good, girl, gained 40 pounds, had a great time. Drank a lot of tequila, sat on a lot of rooftops. I swear to you, I felt like I was reclaiming my time from my 20s. I reclaimed all my time in 1 year and looked around, and I was like, okay, by the time I finished sipping tequila and doing the rooftops, I was like, wait a minute, where's the library? Y'all have no library? Where's the museum? It's no museum here. It's no. And I realized that place was great. It was a great landing spot for the first time to, do some extended travel. It was great, but it wasn't going to sustain me because I am a city girl. And I really do love museums and I like parks and libraries and culture. And not that Playa doesn't have that, it's a different kind of culture. It's very richly steeped in Mayan culture. And I was able to experience that from many angles, and I had seen it. And so I was ready to go. So I set out. My dream from Mexico was Bali. You know how everybody on Instagram is going to Bali, girl. You're doing the Bali swing, you're doing the flower bath. I was like, show me my flower bath. I'm ready for the flower bath, sir. And went to Bali. I stayed there for a couple months. And girl, I was like, nah, this is too much nature. The monk between the monkeys, the geckos, the bug, girl. I was like, yup, yup, yup. I'm not a granola eating yogi. This ain't my thing. And I was supposed to go to, I was supposed to
Not
go
the
from,
granola eating. Okay.
no, this was not my thing. Yoga pants are for lounging around, child, not for doing real work in. I was like, nope, this is not going to work. So I spent 2 months in Bali. I had a great time, but I will say this, the Balinese people are the nicest people you will ever encounter. Child, I felt like broke today, like I didn't have another penny, girl, I would head straight to Bali. Those people are so kind. It's a bug in here. Oh, a mosquito. Girl, it's a mosquito. I'm sorry. Look, now you see, I do not like bugs, child. I'm
And
afraid
I
of
see it, so
bugs.
it's big. And I'm sitting over
Girl.
here worried about this little
Oh,
gnat that keep
oh.
bothering me.
That's what ran me out of Bali. I lied to you not, girl. It was a gecko, a monkey, and some ants. I was like, yep, this is too much nature. And so after 2 months, I was like, yeah, I can't stay here. I gotta go. And since I was traveling light, I plotted out my next destination. I thought it was gonna be Vietnam, but I could never get that visa thing to work out. So Thailand was the next logical choice. You didn't need nothing, girl. They had free visa on arrival. I was like, yep, that's the place for me. So I'm just living life. That's how I've been kind of bumping around. I came to Thailand, came to Chiang Mai, and fell in love with Chiang Mai. And that's
Okay,
it. So,
but what about Chiang Mai made you fall in love?
ooh, it was what my soul needed. Coming off of 30-year career in education, that was stressful. It was a lot. That was trauma too, because watching the reality of some of my kids, I worked in some very tough places. When you're in it, you don't get a chance to process that stuff. You're trying to stay alive. Being able to step back and realize, ooh, I saw some things, I experienced some things happened to me in those environments. um Bali was a great restful place, but again, the nature was just, it was next level. Coming to Thailand, especially Chiang Mai, is a little more city. It's like the perfect size city for me. Coming from Chicago, I like a big city, but this is not that big. It's a right size for me. But there is a calmness. I found this in Buddhist countries. countries that practice Hinduism. They have a respect for life, people, nature, quiet. For me, Southeast Asian countries are generally quiet. They don't talk loud. They're not moving fast. They're reflective, and that resonated with me. I needed it. My spirit was like, okay, chick, you've been on the move. Sit down, take your breath, chill. Going from temples to, just being in nature, girl. There's a beautiful mountain right outside. I can literally walk to the mountains. It was what my soul needed, that rest. And so I have been able to rest here. I unpacked, found an apartment. I still, bop around. I stay here for a month or so, and then I go see something else. And then I come back. I go someplace else for 2 months, and then I come back. So Chiang Mai has been a beautiful home base that allows me to rest when I'm here. Because who don't like a $20 2-hour massage? I was like, y'all got $20
I
2-hour
need that.
massages.
Mm-mm.
Sign me up. Give me two. I want my massage. I want a massage 3 times a week. I'm not living if I don't have a massage 3 times a week. What we talking about here? What?
So that brings up a good point. For those people who think that the America is the dream. I used to get that when I first moved to Korea. Like, why would you even want to be over there? America's the best place in the world, and this that, and that. I was like, baby. And even though in Korea I was actually working, right? My work, I was a school teacher, and I went from corporate, being on the go. Listen, my life in corporate was on Friday night. Friday night I came home. Sunday night I left, and I came back on Friday. And
Ooh.
so there was one day I left on Sunday. I got to Pittsburgh. I was in Pittsburgh on Wednesday. I left Pittsburgh, went to Connecticut, flew out of Connecticut, got a call saying I needed to be in Denver, flew to Denver. Listen, I left a whole entire bag,
Mm-hmm.
luggage, because I was moving too fast, and left it in Connecticut, in New York, actually, because I had to drive to New York from Connecticut. Then I came back to Connecticut, flew out to Denver, and literally I was like, oh my God. And then by that Sunday, I was in DC. I said, listen, I'm tired. And by the time I got to Korea, and after my little sabbatical, when they had laid everybody up, and then I go to Korea, I wasn't. I used to walk to work, being in peace. I wrote
Yep.
50,000 poems on my way to work in my
See?
head. By the time I got home, got to work, I typed them all out. I was living my best little life,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
so with that, so often we get immersed in all the things, right? The
Yep.
glitz, the glamour. Oh, I live in this big house. I'm driving the Mercedes. I have all the stuff. I
We
tell people
drink
all
the
the time,
we drink the capitalism Kool-Aid, girl. We drink the
baby,
consumerism Kool-Aid. We drink the whole picture. Nope, that's not
listen,
where it's at. That's not peace is where it's
and
at. Minimalism is where it's at. Girl, save
right,
your money. The
thinking
money
you
I
doing
have made.
something, and when you doing a whole lot, you're not doing
Yep.
nothing. You're not
Chasing your
doing
tail.
nothing,
Yep.
because at the end of the day, when you sit down, most people who sit down and retire end up dead in the first 5 years because they're
Preach, child.
exhausted.
Preach.
They You're not living in
You waited
this is
too
my
late.
thing.
Yep. Now your body is, you're not in good health. You're mentally, you're
Okay.
stressed. You can't put a sentence together. Sis, I knew that wasn't gonna be me. I have written it down. We talked about write the vision down, make it plain. I have written down years before that I would never work a day over 55. I wasn't even being facetious. I knew I wrote down I would never work a day over 55. I was going to travel the world with my grandchildren, and I wanted to retire with all my hair and my teeth. I wrote that down on a piece of paper. And my boss, look, girl, you know how whenever you get a new boss, they ask you where you see yourself in 5 years. I gave it to her. I said, girl, in 5 years, I won't be here. I'm sure she thought I was going to say I'll be in a leadership. Girl, no, I will not be here with y'all doing this foolishness. You have to seize the day. Tomorrow is not promised. And I'm telling y'all, any black woman over 40 should be living for herself. I'm sorry. Some part of it has to be for you. Some part.
Baby. At the end of the day, like, I ain't never really been a good worker. I have been a good employee, but
Mhm.
I've always walked into a job with an exit plan. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is gonna be X amount of months, X amount of years. I don't think I don't do the years, but it's like, listen, this is
Until it
going to
doesn't fit
serve
us
this
anymore.
purpose. But after this time, I'm out because I don't like the confinement.
Yeah.
I used to work for the phone company in Nashville. I used to sit there and look out. I was like, where are these people going? I need to have that life. Can I go too? I'm
You
ready.
always have wanderlust.
Listen, I want to know where the people going. Like, why they out there walking around and being free, and I'm up in here
Come
in
on.
captivity? I don't like this. I'm not a show monkey. I don't want to do this. And so
And we
I
weren't
always
born
have.
for that. Girl, we were
How
born to
was
be out in
it?
the world. Look
Listen.
at me. I want
Mm-mm.
to see flowers. I want the flowers to see me. I'm looking at you, you looking at me. It is a journey, child. And I love what you said. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and stop bringing your American expectations, whatever shows up. My, that thing of watching something unfold, girl, I'm on point. I will watch something. It's like, oh, that's what we're doing. That doesn't, it's okay. It don't have to unfold the way I think it should unfold. You gotta have that sense of adventure, and you've got to let go of the perfectionism and come have the experience. Just immerse yourself in it. Korea is not like Thailand. It's not like the US. It's not like Mexico. All these places are unique for a reason. Go suck up the culture, eat the folks' food, girl. Enjoy the moment, because we don't know. I mean, I think if the pandemic didn't show us anything, child, you don't know what could happen tomorrow. And I don't ever want to.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be the one looking back saying, "Dog, I wish I had." That will not be me. Y'all better come on, get some of this good, good. I will not be that person talking about, "Oh, I wish I had." No, ma'am. No, ma'am. By the time I roll over back over there to my kid's house, oh yeah, I'm gonna be so spent. I'm gonna be like, they're gonna be like, dang, our mama, yes, your mama did it all. But y'all, you know what? I don't even know we touched on this. People think that this lifestyle is expensive. Now listen, I want to dispel some myths. Travel is wonderful, but travel's not always glamorous. Y'all heard Cha say she left a whole bag in New York. I have lost all kinds of things. Travel can be stressful if you don't, you can plan as much as you can, but it's not what you see on IG. It can be that, everybody wants to go to the lounge, everybody wants lounge life, everybody wants to ride first class, business class. I get it. It's been great. I'm not going, I ain't trying to pretend like it has good. It's been good. But it can be stressful. And so you got to learn to pace yourself. But don't come with those expectations. Accept it as it comes. Be willing to let the experience, just it don't have to be perfect, and it doesn't definitely have to be costly. But what I have learned in this life, and I almost lost it, is, child, I have been able to save so much more money. Do you know my monthly expenses here are like a third of what I was paying in the States? Girl, it's even less than that. It's like 25%. I'm living off of 25%, which allows me to invest so much money. I'm setting my grandbabies up. They'll never work like I worked. I'm talking about custodial accounts. I'm shelling all that money that I would have been paying for my car note, all that foolishness, all the things and the trappings. I don't have those bills anymore. I literally can live for under $1,000 a month. And I'm talking about live. I'm talking. I don't miss no massages. I don't miss no dinners. I don't miss anything. You want to go? Let's go. But on a monthly basis, what I've been able to save, girl, them babies, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'm telling you, I'm trying to live it like 50 Cent. I'm gonna get rich or die trying. No grandbabies will be set, because I just don't have to spend my money on, my mortgage and all the things that the US, tells us we have to be successful, or to be secure, or that we've arrived. Girl, I did all of that. I rode that pony. It was good. I ain't mad. But this is a much easier way of life for me. It is, for me, it is my version of soft life, in that I have everything I need. I'm never stressed about money. I'm not pressed for anything. And the savings to be able to watch my grandchildren benefit from this. I can help my kids. I can stock away money for whatever I want to do. That is the real life hack. That the hack is not just that you travel and see the world, but that it is so less. It costs so much less than what we needed to sustain ourselves in the States. Girl, I'm stacking money, not
Okay,
not like that.
so
Don't come see me. I'm just
tell us
saying.
about I know we're going to have a conversation. For those of you who are just joining us or have been with us for a minute, the extended version of this is we're actually going to have a conversation our Sunday. You all, if you're in the US, Saturday. I get this all confused, but I'll put
It's
the
no. It's
information.
their Sunday. It's our Monday. It's their Sunday, our Monday.
See, I would have everybody just tuning into silence. But okay, your Sunday, our Monday, we're going to talk about the differences of living in Malaysia as well as living in Thailand. So, give us a quick synopsis of how much it costs you to have your lifestyle. We're talking about rent, utilities.
Girl, it's obscene. It's obscene. It's obscene. I literally live here on less than what my mortgage was. And I'm talking about just my mortgage. We're not even talking about food, car, anything. So my rent here is 12,000 baht, which is roughly, depending on the exchange rate, between 325, 350 a month. I am not one to, I don't suffer. So I blow my air all the time. I mean, it's one of those things. And I have never paid more than $50 for an electric bill. My cell phone bill is 300 baht, which is roughly $9, definitely less than 10. My internet bill is 300 baht, which is just under $10. And girl, this is so crazy. My water bill, the last time I think it was like 87 baht, which is less than $3. That's it. That's my monthly. That's I don't even think that's
And y'all
$500.
living the American dream out here, trying to have G wagons, the
Girl,
big five
we jumping
bedroom
on
house
and
with a
off
whole bunch of
flights.
stuff you don't even use. Like,
Nope.
but I just don't understand, when and my lifestyle is a little bit more expensive than that. However, I have $1 million view. Like I see all of Kuala Lumpur. Like
All
it's
I'm saying.
amazing at night. At night, I feel like I'm on the Empire State Building. That's the view I have.
Yeah.
So I love that I'm able to live and raise my child in a country outside of America where he's not tied to things and he
Yeah.
doesn't think things make his life go round. Like he got all the things he needs. He
Mm-hmm.
listen, he gets in his grab and he's like telling the grab driver where he want to go, what he gonna do. He going to his final destination if that's his new thing. But I look at the life I lived in America and how confining it is because you
Mm-hmm.
go out there and you think about this American dream about having the big house. I had a house. I was
Mm-hmm.
miserable. I built it from the ground up. I loved my house, but I was
Tell it.
miserable because I was
Yeah.
trying to run a business, pay my rent or pay my mortgage, pay the utilities, and then God forbid something breaking that
Tell
I
the
had to
truth.
fix it. I was like,
Yep.
who signed me up for this? I don't want to
Look,
do
now
this. I
something
don't
breaks,
want
child.
to
We
do
call
this.
somebody up. It's like, excuse me, your air conditioner broke. Fix
Right.
me.
Like
You're
I
gonna need
was
to get
like,
over here and
who
fix that.
signed me up for this? How is this the
Yeah.
dream when I felt stuck and I really felt stuck in my house. Now, at that time, I really wished that there was an Airbnb situation because I would have kept my house, I would have Airbnb'd it out, I would have, did all the things.
Mm-hmm.
However, that wasn't the thing, but I felt stifled.
Yeah.
I really felt like I couldn't go be me because
Me
I
too.
got this house that need, something and went wrong with the air conditioning. I gotta go call the man to put some freon, all the stuff. I hated that being responsible for all of those things. Did I
Yes.
like living in my house? Was it decorated? I loved it, yes. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, it was keeping me from being free and doing the things that I wanted to do that allowed me to live my life. And
Girl.
again, I don't try to tell people to come live this life and glorify it and make it seem like it's going to be the answer to all your woes, because it's not, and it's not for everybody, and
Yeah.
everybody shouldn't attempt to do it. But you right, and authentically what you need and want in your life. So
Mhm.
if you feel like this is something for you and you need help, come holler at your girl. I have a
Come on.
30-minute free consultation. Go to my website. It is www.childjones.com. You can get on this bandwagon if this is what you so choose to do with a little assistance. And sometimes it's just your mind playing tricks on you, telling you what you can't do when you know deep inside of you what you really want to do, and just get clear about that. Now we have come to time, we're a couple minutes over, but Sondra,
Yeah.
tell people how they can reach out to you and what you got going on.
You can find me across all social media platforms at From Lack to Legacy, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And we do essentially some of the things that Cha does. I help with relocation. If you're interested in coming to Thailand, we're here for you. So you can find all of that information on my YouTube channel. Just search any video. We do financial planning. I run a financial literacy learning community. We meet every Wednesday. We talk about money. We talk about how to make your money grow. We talk about where to put your money when they cut you that big fat check and you get a big bag. You need to know what to do with that money, so that the goal is to make your money work so well that that sustains you, that the dividends, that you can live off your dividend income. So we want to help you structure a plan so that you don't even have to worry about money, girl. The money is working while you're sleeping. And you can catch me on YouTube every Sunday. That's where you're going to find me and Chad this Sunday. We will be talking about comparing the cost of living between Malaysia and Thailand. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, you know where to find you, girl. You know where to find us, From Lack to Legacy, across all social media.
Absolutely. I love it. I want to thank you again for showing up at a God-forsaken time in the morning that I would have really considered if you liked me, if you asked me to show up. But thank you so much for
Don't think
showing
I
up.
wasn't thinking it. I was like, oh, I'm resentful. I'm resentful. At 6:30 when that alarm went off, I said, girl, I'm resentful. But let me go ahead.
But
Let me go spend this good hour with my good sis.
you did it for the culture, and I'm so glad that you did. And I
Thank you
want
for
to
having
encourage
me.
anybody to look her up. Good people, listen. Now, I've lived in Chicago in my life, and I have some type of feeling about certain things. But I love Chicago is one of my favorite cities as far as food and entertainment.
Mhm,
I don't always like the people, but I knew
mhm.
she was a Jones. And when we met, listen, I didn't meet a stranger. I met another soul that had already been connected to, and I'm so grateful that we came across each other's paths, and we're able to connect. And I'm praying. I got her apartment across the street that
You
I'm ready for her
see,
to move into.
I'm coming.
Listen.
I'm coming. I'm coming, Shaw. Seriously. This has been great, but some cities have an expiration date, and my expiration date is coming up. I think I'm gonna be here for a little bit. I'm headed to Kuala Lumpur. I just need to get my visa stuff worked out. You see what I'm saying? I'm a
I
convert.
want to
It was
do
an easy
it.
conversion. It was an easy conversion. Let's seal the deal. Sister, thank you for having
See?
me.
Gotta
It's
use
been a
them
blast.
babies. Well, thank you again for being with me here on Life's a Vacay, and for all of you who have watched live or who watch in the recording. Thank you. And remember, live your best life because it's the only life. All right now. Peace.
Bye, y'all.